Welcome to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I am your host, Kyle King, and the goal of this podcast is to help you create an ecosystem of academic excellence through inspiring conversations, practical strategies, and actionable insights. We empower educators, leaders, and change makers just like yourself, foster trust, collaboration, and provide them ultimately with the tools, methodologies, and resources to create an ecosystem of academic excellence. I am very excited about this episode, and we're going to talk about today creating a culture of excellence across teams. Recently, I had the opportunity to work with the number one voted fitness studio in the United States based upon US Today's standards, Orange Theory. And if you have not heard of Orange Theory, it is absolutely phenomenal. And being there and spending time with their team and their leadership and going through a variation of their processes has inspired me to shoot this episode and talk about how some of the things that they're doing internally that may not even be noticed from their members are leading to the reasons why they are leading the industry in the fitness space. And it's some of the things that they're doing that I believe that a lot of us as leaders need to be integrating within their models, but then also as educational leaders, we can integrate a lot of this stuff within our schools, within our organizations, so that we can be able to produce better results, build better relationships, and create much wider impact. So I have a list of bullet points that I'm going to be going through, and I'm going to want you to really dive in to doing these things and reflecting on these points and reflecting on these questions after the episode. Let's go get it. One of the things that I've noticed in working with their team is they always start with the personal. They're asking those questions that they're learning about people. They're keeping document of various milestones with not just the people internally, but the members that they're working with. And there's a list of questions that I'm going to ask you today that I want you to really think of integrating within your leadership repertoire, in a sense. The first question is, what do you know about your team members? Do you know that they have children? Do you know the colleges or the universities that they come from? Do you know what are the various challenges that they've overcome? Do you know their vision, their goals? And here's 5 specific things that you should learn about your team members so that you can begin to build better relationships with them. Number 1 is, what are some of the pain points and challenges that they're experiencing, right? And that gives you the opportunity to serve as the leader, as the guide, as the connector to either providing them a book to be able to soften that pain point or challenge, provide them access or information on a podcast, or potentially send them resources or coach them in that specific area as well. Number 2 is, what's their vision and where's some of the place, like where are they trying to go? So we have pain points and challenges, but what are their wants and desires? Where are the things that they're wanting in life, whether it's to buy a new home, whether it's to get a new car, whether it's to travel to a new location, whether it's to learn how to play the piano or doing a new fitness routine in a sense. What are the wants and desires of your team? And then that, again, allows you as a leader to be able to develop various things where you're seeing them as a part on these various steps on this journey. Number 3 is, what are the frequently asked questions that they're asking? And when I think about questions that people are asking frequently, this allows us to think ahead and create processes and systems and even hire personnel that are experts in these areas that have answers to the questions that our team members have. And I think as a leader, as an expert, it's important for us to be able to think through the questions and create a solution before our team even brings us the question, so that we can be able to have these things ready for them. And then that would ultimately build confidence for them as well. And then the last piece, again, frequently asked questions, wants and desires, pain points and challenges. And again, the last thing that I like to see is demographics. All right. So where do they come from? What do they believe? Religious beliefs, because it's important when we're designing a culture in creating a culture of excellence around our teams, that we're mindful of various team meetings. We're mindful of various things that we do as an organization when we're looking at the people that are on our team. If we recognize that we have 5 members of our team, of a 7-member team, that have children that are all school age, then we can't have morning meetings when those team members are breaking or are dropping their children off. We may have to schedule those meetings during the course of the day or in the middle of the day, not in the afternoon, when those team members have, again, responsibilities at home. So what do you know about your team demographically, in a sense, that would allow you to be able to build structures and systems and processes around understanding these specific team members? Second question that I want you to consider as a part of starting with the personal is, what parts of your story have you shared with your team? And it's really cool, because I was talking to one of the leaders of Orange Theory. She runs one of the gyms in one of their North Carolina studios. And I simply asked her, hey, what got you into this work here? And she went down the rabbit hole of all this information that talked about her spanning from corporate America and her career, building her own business, and how, she had a daughter and this and then that, and all of these various things that happened in her career that gave her not only the skill set to do what she's doing at a high level, but it helped me connect with her more and recognize where her passion, her work ethic, but then also her values were as a leader, and why she did things in the ways that she did them. Because she was a person of integrity, she understood the various stories of her team members, because she had been through the trenches similar to them as well. And I think it's exciting when you take the time to not only share your story with your team members, but then also allow them to share their story with you, so that we can be able to build those various connection points of colleges that we went to, struggles that we've overcome, our religious beliefs, our ways of thinking in regards to processing information, all of these various elements that will allow us to be able to create a really a great team. And we'll be able to understand the strengths, the weaknesses, the areas of opportunity. We'll understand the connectivity, the connection points, or the touch points where we need to grow in or we need to learn together. We'll understand the types of things that we need to do, or team building activities that we can do, because we have these various things in common. And I think oftentimes, just as human beings, we so often focus on the areas that make us different, rather than highlighting the things that bring us closer together. And that's one of the stories are what bind us together as not just leaders, not just colleagues, not just employees or team members, but as human beings. And I think it's important for us to understand this and share our stories and allow other people to share their stories and understand their history, so that we can be able to continue to build a culture of connectivity, a culture of relationships within our team as well. So that's step number 2. Step number 1 is start with the personal. Number 2 characteristic that I learned about, again, Orange Theory, #1 fitness studio in the country, doing some absolutely amazing work. Number 2 is that we have to hold people to a standard. One of the things that I recognize just about leadership as a whole is we can't set boundaries nor have expectations without understanding what this standard is. And I believe this shows up oftentimes in educational institutions and mission-driven organizations, where a lot of mess is ruining the possibility of creating miracles and movements towards impact, because we don't have a standard of excellence. We don't have a way of doing things, and we can't hold people accountable to behavior. We can't enforce certain decisions or certain activities if we don't have a standard of excellence. And at this studio that I've had the privilege to work with, they have a standard of excellence. They believe that they're the #1 studio in the country. They have a certain level of clientele that they are supporting and creating an experience for. They have a certain level of systems and processes that are unique, but also required for people to perfect and learn. They have a expectation and a standard for how many calls are set during the course of the day, how many emails are sent, how many texts are sent, how many people are closed, how many calls are done, how many things are communicated, what things look like. Do we have a standard in our organization? And then if we don't, how are we holding people accountable and having expectations of success? So as a leader, I want you to think about, what is your standard? And then based upon that standard of excellence, what does that look like behavior-wise as an organization? So step number one, again, point number one is we have to start with the personal. Focus number two is we have to hold people to a standard. Focus number three, as a part of that standard, it should have been like subsection 2A, is don't allow gossip or negativity. Don't even entertain it. One of the things that was communicated to me by one of their leaders is that gossip and negativity are diseases and culture killers that ruin the very fabric of excellence that we're working to create as an organization. Gossip and negativity are diseases and culture killers that ruin the fabric of excellence that we are working to create. The sidebar conversations, the workroom gossip, the bickering, the complaining is not accepted in organizations that are producing results, but then also have a standard of excellence. So when you think about your organization, are these things being allowed? And one of the things that I always talk about is your organization's behavior is not based upon what you say, it's based upon what you allow. And when we're allowing these things, we are saying that this is acceptable practice within our organization. We are communicating that this gossip is allowed here. Until we enforce it, until we stop it, we are communicating that gossip is allowed, that bickering is allowed, that negativity is allowed. Now, I understand that there's a difference between communicating concern. There's a difference between communicating potentially an area of weakness, but then also providing a solution versus sitting around the table talking about your boss or talking about the things that they don't do or the things that you don't necessarily like. Those, again, gossip and negativity are diseases that are culture killers that ruin the very fabric of excellence within organizations. We have to remove it. So again, start with the personal, hold people to the standard, don't allow gossip or entertain negativity. But number four is, I believe, the most critical piece. And again, there's 8 total, but number 4 is the one that was my favorite in what I was able to view and what I've continued to be able to see on a daily basis. Systems and processes are critical to their success. And there's some questions that I want you to ask yourself and I want you to reflect on, because the systems and processes at Orange Theory are top notch. And I'm going to say that again. The systems and processes at this organization are absolutely top notch. And I believe business schools should be doing a case study on how they're running their organization from a process and system standpoint. And it's just absolutely phenomenal. What are your systems of hiring people? And does it align to the very fabric of the mission statement of what you're saying that you stand for? What are your systems of firing people? And does that align with the mission and the vision of how your organization is built? What is your system to evaluating talent? What is your system to closing deals? What is your system to outreach? What is your system to reevaluating products? What is your system to product launches? What are all of the systems? And when you think about every area of your organization, when you think of every area of your institution, what are the systems? And I want you to really reflect on that. Like, what are the systems that we have in place if, as a school, someone wants to give us $1,000? What are the systems that we have in place if we want to recruit new board members? What are the systems that I have in place if we want parents to be able to volunteer? What are the systems that we have in place if we want to bring on a new teacher or we want to evaluate success? What are the systems that we have in place? Because systems are critical to a business success. One of the things that I believe is important: processes, people, and systems. Processes, personnel, systems, PPS. You have to have processes in place. Then you have to bring in people that are experts in being able to execute these processes so that then they can be able to execute and be able to accelerate it through creating systems. Number 5, allow, want, and support people in winning. Just one question here. Do I want my team to win more than I want to be seen? And I think this is a question that I had to reflect on as a leader, because I think that a lot of times in my leadership career, I've wanted to be seen leading more than I wanted my team individually to win. I wanted the results. I wanted to be able to create. I wanted to be able to showcase this. I wanted to be able to create this partnership or do this thing and be seen doing work rather than encouraging, empowering, and placing other people before my title. And that's an honest reflection. And I don't want you to make some of the same mistakes that I've made. So I want you to consider that. Do I want my team to win more than I want to be seen leading something or doing the work? So number 1 is start with personal. Number 2 is hold people to a standard. Number 3 is don't allow gossip or entertain negativity. Number 4 is systems and processes are critical to success. Number 5 is allow, want, and support people in winning. And the next one, take notes to learn personal facts about people and clients to connect with them. I want you to understand the people that you're doing business with, they're actually human beings. And I don't know if you forgot that. I don't know if you forgot that the people that you're working with are actually human beings, and they have birthdays and they have anniversaries, and they also celebrate various milestones, and they actually like college football teams or basketball teams. They actually travel to vacation. They may have kids that have birthdays and all of these different things. And think about how you would separate yourself and how we would be able to create a culture of excellence across teams if we were able to acknowledge these various personal or professional milestones within our organization. Whether it's sending notes to team members on milestones, whether it's celebrating people for their progress when it's not planned, because oftentimes we forget how long we've been in an organization. We may know our anniversary with our wives or our spouses, but the fact that our team knows and they are celebrating us, we sometimes work so hard that we even forget our birthdays. But if our team lets us know and they remind us and they affirm us and they encourage us and they celebrate us, that is what creates a culture of excellence and creates a culture of connectivity. So again, number 1 is to start with the personal. Number 2 is to hold people to a standard. Number 3 is to don't allow gossip or entertain negativity. Number 4 is systems and processes are critical to success. Number 5 is allow, want, and support people in winning. Number 6 is take notes to learn personal facts and information about people and clients to connect with them. And number 7 is focus on the product and sell the features later. Do you have a damn good enough product to sell it without the features? We are in the business, people, of selling transformation, not features. No one cares about all of the add-ons. People want to see a result. And that's the beautiful thing that I love about Orange Theory is the model behind Orange Theory and the research behind it and the transformative stories behind it. That's the beautiful thing that I love about various schools around the country is that this type of student graduated from here and went to go to med school. Or this school has a 90% or 100% graduation rate, and 90% of their students are going to Ivy League institutions. This school has produced 56 NFL players. This school has sent 12 young women to Juilliard. Like those are the types of statistics and information that prove that you're capable of bringing in people to work with your organization. So focus on creating an amazing product so that you don't even have to sell the paint on the wall or a new building or a new turf field. Like, what is the result that you're producing as a leader? And what is the result that someone can expect to have working with your organization? And here's the last one. Number 8 is confidence of employees is built through preparation. Working with this team, I can tell and even recognize how comfortable people felt and how confident people felt being supported in the work that they're doing, not just being thrown into the fire, being trusted to drive results and being trusted and to take intentional and uncomfortable action with support on the other side. Are your employees and team members comfortable and confident in the work that they're doing? Are you the leader that's actually supporting them in the way that they need or in the way that you feel most comfortable? Are you the leader that is creating a team that feels flexible and free, and trust is the foundation of your team? Whether that is you're going into classrooms and you're also teaching lessons so that the students can meet you. Whether that is you working with a nonprofit organization and you're actually going out and serving with the people that you are called to serve. This allows us to build those relationships. This allows us to see us, our people see us in action. So when we think about this work, I want us to start with the personal. I want us to hold people to a high standard of excellence. I want us to be able to not allow gossip or entertain negativity, and we have to have systems and processes and understand that they are critical to success. And as we focus on that, we have to allow and want and support people in winning. This requires us to take notes, y'all, to learn personal facts about people and clients, to connect with them on a people-to-people level. But we have to be able to ensure that we're focusing on a really, really strong product, a product that is not just we're selling features, we're selling transformation, so that we can have confident employees, confident team members, and that is only built through preparation. Trust is the very foundation of what we're trying to build here as leaders. And in order for us to create a culture of excellence across teams, we have to excel as leaders. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Contagious Culture Podcast. I am your host, Kyle King. And one of the questions that we ask every week is, what type of culture are you spreading? Culture is everywhere and in anything. Look, make yours worth spreading. Like, subscribe, and share this podcast episode. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace.